Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. I hope you've all had a very happy Monday and a great start to your weeks. Today, you guessed it, we're going to be covering Cardano, and we've got a number of things that we want to go over in this video. We're really going to start the video off by jumping into the charts and looking at price. We're going to look at it on the 4-hourly time frame because there's a pattern playing out right now that essentially indicates that there's a move coming very, very soon, whether that be to the up or the downside. We'll discuss it when we get into that pattern that's at play. We're also going to take a look at the weekly time frame, and we're going to take a look at two indicators. Now, these indicators are at levels that historically, really, since Cardano's inception, signal it being extremely oversold. And every time we get down to these levels on both indicators, there is a rally that ensues after us making or certainly getting down to these levels. So we're going to get into that in this video. Second half of the video, we're going to be jumping in and really touching on what we covered in yesterday's video. Yesterday's video was largely about the scale of what's on the or around the corner for Cardano. These dApps turning on. We spoke about what this is going to do for the underlying protocol. We spoke about what effect smart contracts and dApps running on top of other smart contract applications has had in terms of price. We looked at Solana, we looked at Terra, and we looked at Avalanche, which are all, they all have working smart contracts and dApps running on them. And Cardano is about to get that. But what I want to do, and this video is really inspired by a tweet from Dwayne Cameron, where he's talking about the fact, I'll read the tweet in fact, yes, Indigo Protocol, lets you do this with ease. Open a CDP using staked ADA, collateral to mint ETH. Now you have exposure to ETH price action plus ADA staking rewards. Now you can go LP on Sunday Swap or stake. So we're going to be covering, we covered Liquid Labs, and we've also covered Cardano. And we're going to be diving back into that again, because I said in one of my videos, and people believe that it was kind of too good to be true, that you can essentially lend or stake your Cardano to the Cardano protocol. You can mint their stablecoin DUSD, collateralized with your underlying ADA. And then what you can do with that DUSD is go and buy more ADA and repeat the process, and you'll be earning rewards for doing this. So we're really going to be touching on some of the mind-blowing opportunities that are on the horizon for Cardano. I don't think people understand this. One thing all of these apps, all of these dApps, all of these DeFi protocols have in common is that they utilize the underlying token ADA in some form, shape or other. Think about what that does to the supply, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get into it. I've rabbited on for long enough. Let's talk about the price. Now, right now in the short term, I'm not a big fan of this price action. It's pretty spectacular how Cardano's kind of held this range. We've refused to go below it. Even today when we were selling off, and I've been watching this chart pretty much all day, guys. You can see the second we got down to these levels, we saw an uptick in price. So it's bullish and bearish, and it kind of coincides literally with where we wicked down here. Was this the liquidity being tested? Who knows? But we're seeing an uptick every time we get down to this level. So it's a bit of a flaw, but the problem that you've got, and I have to be honest, is when you form something like this, which is a descending triangle, the issue is that you're coiling up to the downside, if that makes sense. And there's only so many times you can knock on a door before somebody answers it. And these will typically break. This pattern that we have in play will typically break to the downside. But that being said, we're going to show you a number of indicators that suggest that, you're at the floor, you're at the bottom for Cardano. This is historically, these indicators have historically told you that when you're at these levels, a rally ensues. Now, that doesn't mean that's going to has to happen again, but we'll show you that historically, this has been a huge indication that you're about to see at least a relief rally and a price increase. So this isn't great. I'm not too happy about seeing this, but it's not, it's not the end of the world. There's plenty of times where Cardano essentially has, one of my alarms going off then. There's plenty of times when Cardano has actually, bottomed in a similar kind of fashion. Over here, for example, you can see that this level was massively supportive, and you're kind of ahead here today. So what I want to do is jump onto the weekly very quickly before we get into some of these amazing opportunities that are about to unfold on DeFi. And I want to talk to you about the RSI and the stock RSI. And I want to pull it up. Let's move this chart out here a little bit, guys. Where you are today, guys, in terms of your stock RSI, typically there's still a little bit of room to go lower, but I want to show you this. Every time, can you see this? I'll move that out of the way so my head isn't covering it. Every time, historically, I'll tell you what. Every time, historically, when you've been at these levels, guys, it's essentially signaled a relief rally. Even in the bear market, ladies and gentlemen. Can you see this? You had a rally to the upside. Dead cat bounce in that occasion. But even down here, guys, you can see that typically you'll get a run to the upside that will follow it. And then obviously we know what happened here in March 2020. We got the kind of slam down where everything kind of sold off. So you can see that, can you see you're down here, you got a rally. You come back down, you get back down to this level, you see a rally again. You come back down, you get down to this level, you see a rally, and so on and so forth. And we actually did anticipate that you would essentially trended here. You can see how the kind of halfway mark, the 50 mark on your RSI had actually held you. This is really the first time since this bull run began that we're getting down to these levels. But one thing that this level has typically, and we're not there just yet, guys, indicated is a move to the upside of some shape or form. So that's what we're expecting. Couple that in with where you are today. Is there still a little bit more room for downside? There is. Not too much, because of course we don't want to start invalidating some of these lows over here, which would mean we invalidate bigger macro structure like our Elliott wave theory and so on. But still you're hanging in there. And when you kind of really understand what's around the corner, guys, I don't understand how you can be anything but bullish. You know, right now markets are very lackluster. We've been covering the markets on a daily basis where we've been going into macroeconomic effects, so on and so forth, you know, global events and how they're all impacting not only our markets but markets across the board, as we're seeing that liquidity get strained. So let's look at the stock RSI. That's Bitcoin, the wrong one. You're also down here at the floor, and same thing with your RSI. Can you see this? These have typically been, you know, your kind of bottoming moments, if you will, and you're there against there. The last time we had this, just to remind you guys, you saw, let's move that out of the way, a 215% move to the upside. You know, and in fact, if we very quickly do that, and we will move on to the DeFi in a second, I just want to alert you to this. Every time in this bull run that we've seen this, the first time was 700%. Over here, you can see 2,787%, and over here you also did that 215%. Are we going to see a huge jump to the upside? You guys know that we are absolutely believing that ADA is going to get to new all-time highs. It's a matter of when, not if, in my opinion. If you look at this pullback, we've not really seen any kind of a relief rally yet. Typically, certainly in a bear market, you know, you'll sell off, you'll have a significant relief rally, and you have relief rallies all the way down. We've not really seen that for Cardano. It's been consistent downward pressure, and this is due to a multiple of things that we've discussed in other videos. So what I'll do is make my face a little bit bigger again, and we're going to dive into this tweet. Now, first of all, in fact, we'll just dive straight into it. So this is Dwayne Cameron talking about some of the DeFi opportunities. And we covered the fact that with Cardano, you'll essentially be able to mint a stable coin against your ADA. This is a kind of visual representative of it, if you will. So that is kind of, you know, you can see the DeFi sort of opportunities that present themselves alone with that. So for example, you can see that you could essentially deposit your Cardano. It's remains staked, so you're still going to get your epoch staking rewards every epoch. Not only that, you will be able to borrow against it, and you could then take that borrowed DUSD and you could swap it very easily for more Cardano, and you could rinse and repeat the process. And as long as you don't get liquidated, you don't get your position called by your collateral going past a certain point, you know, you can keep doing that. And that, of course, is determined on Cardano and its price and so on and so forth. Cardano is just one protocol. Liquid Labs are talking about the fact that Indigo protocol is essentially like a synthetic asset on Cardano, a synthetic asset maker on Cardano. So you have like ETH or I something that is a Cardano native token that you can trade, but it's very much pegged to the price they'll probably work with some sort of a bridge or something like that. This stuff is quite mind-blowing. You know, the opportunities for DeFi. Ethereum had the biggest opportunity in the world in terms of yield farming. They did have a lot of yield farming opportunities, but due to the fact that the gas fees were just so exponentially high, a lot of these ways of yield farming will actually involve quite a few transactions taking place on chain. So you'll need to send your ADA, which is a transaction. You'll need to maybe lock it into a smart contract, which is a transaction. You'll need to withdraw it. You'll need to, then if you mint something against it, you'll need to withdraw that with it. So there's lots of transactions. You just can't do that on ETH. Otherwise, you'll find yourselves in literally thousands of pounds of gas fees very, very quickly. I don't really use Ethereum's DeFi. The only thing I use is Aave, and that's integrated with Polygon. So it's very cheap to use. But this is just extremely interesting. And Liquid Labs and Cardano are two of an ecosystem of dApps being built on top of Cardano. And that's the thing that unites them all. They're built all on top of ADA. Yesterday, we looked in great detail at, you know, just how much value gets locked up, or was locked up certainly in Ethereum's DeFi, more than we have in our entire market cap as a standalone smart contract coin. So pay attention to what's coming, guys. These indicators, don't take my word for it. Go and have a look yourselves. TradingView, I'm using the Kraken chart because it's one that I've not drawn all over. Go to the weekly time frame, bring up your RSI and your stock RSI. Take a look at them. Take a look at the levels you're at today. Just because you're here today, guys, that doesn't mean that you know, it has to play out again. But historically, every single time the level that you're at has appeared on these indicators, you've had a relief rally at least, and this could signal the bottom. We just don't know just yet, guys. There is still the possibility for more downside on the short term. Certainly, I'm not a big fan of us coming down and continuing to knock on the door of this level, if you will, because like I say, eventually somebody will answer. And the problem that you've got is you're very much coiling up here, guys. Can you see this? You're getting tighter and tighter and tighter. So if you come up here and start to see a rejection, this is something I'm certainly watching for. A bit of me would rather we kind of sold through it. You can, I've seen fake outs with these before where you've literally dipped a toe below and then you've been off to the races. So we are going to be monitoring this and certainly keeping you up to date with it. Remember, guys, we do have the all-in crypto stake pool. For those of you looking to delegate to a pool, we are growing in members, certainly delegators, but due to some of the ISPOs like SundaySwap and so on, we have lost a few delegators. I'm sure hopefully they'll be coming back to the pool. You know, we are here to stay as a pool, and we are going to hopefully continue to play a role in the decentralization of Cardano's network. If you want to join the Discord, there's a link to it in the description. I'm going to love and leave you on that note, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Mondays, and I'll catch you all in the next YouTube video. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen.